Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like you don't fully recognize the person staring back at you? Not your face, not your hair, but something deeper, something behind the eyes, a feeling that says, who actually is this person? What are they hiding? What are they running from? Most people go through their entire lives without ever asking this question. They wake up, follow the routine, play the role others expect of them, and call that living. But Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in human history, had a warning for those people. He said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Today, we're going to go on a journey. Not to Mars, not to the ocean floor. We're going somewhere far more dangerous, far more mysterious, and far more life-changing. We're going inside you. And by the end of this video, you will see yourself in a way you never have before. You might feel uncomfortable. You might resist what you hear. And that discomfort, that is exactly the sign that you need to keep watching. Let's begin. Carl Gustav Jung was born in Switzerland in 1875. He was a quiet, deeply introspective child who from a very early age felt like there were two versions of himself. One was the normal boy who went to school, laughed with friends, obeyed his parents. The other was something older, wiser, and stranger. Something that watched the world from a distance and felt that ordinary life was somehow not the whole picture. This feeling never left him, and instead of running from it, Jung did something extraordinary. He dedicated his entire life to understanding it. He studied under Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, and for a time they were the closest of intellectual companions. But eventually, Jung broke away. Because he believed Freud had only seen half the picture. Freud was obsessed with sexuality and childhood trauma as the root of all psychological conflict. Jung thought bigger, much bigger. Jung believed that the human psyche was an entire universe, and just like the universe, most of it was invisible. He introduced to the world a concept that would change psychology forever. He called it the unconscious. But not just the personal unconscious, the memories you've repressed, the experiences you've buried, the emotions you pretend don't exist. Jung went deeper. He said there is something beneath even that, something that doesn't belong to you alone, something ancient, inherited and shared by every human being who has ever walked this earth. He called it the collective unconscious. Think about that for a moment. Inside you right now, there is a layer of the mind that was not built by your childhood, not shaped by your parents, not created by your personal experiences. It was placed there by thousands and thousands of years of human evolution. It is the accumulated wisdom, fear, instinct, and story of every human who ever lived before you. And this collective unconscious speaks to you. Not in words, in symbols, in dreams, in the stories that have moved humanity across every culture and every age. Myths, fairy tales, religious imagery, recurring fears, universal archetypes of the hero, the villain, the wise old man, the great mother. Jung called these archetypes, and he said they live in all of us. But here is where it gets personal. Here is where Jung's philosophy stops being an interesting idea and becomes something that can shake your life. Jung said that the biggest problem with human beings is not that they are bad people. The biggest problem is that they do not know themselves, and the parts of themselves they don't know, those parts don't disappear. They go underground. They hide. And from the darkness, they control everything. He called this hidden side of the self the shadow. The shadow is not evil. Let me say that again, because most people misunderstand this. The shadow is not evil. It is simply the part of you that you were told, as a child, was unacceptable. Maybe you were told that anger was wrong, so you buried your anger. Now it comes out sideways as passive aggression, as sarcasm, as sudden explosions that you can't explain. Maybe you were told that ambition was selfish, so you buried your desire. Now you secretly resent successful people, and you don't know why. The shadow is every quality you denied, every emotion you suppressed, every instinct you were ashamed of. And the longer you refuse to look at it, the more power it has over you. Jung gave us a haunting phrase. He said, "The most dangerous thing about the shadow is that it is you. You are the thing you've been afraid of." So how do you find your shadow? Jung said, "Look at the things that make you most angry about other people. Whatever irritates you, triggers you, or repulses you in someone else, that is almost always a mirror. It is showing you something in yourself that you have not yet accepted. This is called projection. We take the parts of ourselves we cannot face and we throw them outward onto other people. The man who furiously hates dishonesty in others is often unconsciously dishonest with himself. The woman who is constantly enraged by arrogant people often has a buried arrogance she has never allowed herself to express. This is not a comfortable idea, but it is a deeply liberating one, because once you stop projecting, once you take back your shadow, you become whole. Jung called this process individuation, and it was, to him, the central task of human life. Individuation does not mean becoming perfect, it means becoming complete. It means integrating all the parts of yourself, the light and the dark, the rational and the irrational, the masculine and the feminine, until you are no longer divided against yourself. He described two internal forces that live in every person, regardless of gender. He called them the anima and the animus. The anima is the feminine energy within a man. The animus is the masculine energy within a woman. And these are not just abstract ideas, these are real psychological forces that shape how you relate to others, how you love, how you create, how you lead. A man who has not recognized his anima will be cold, rigid, cut off from emotion, and often surrounded by relationship chaos he cannot understand. A woman who has not recognized her animus will be indecisive, lacking in confidence, easily controlled by others, unable to stand in her own authority. When you integrate these energies, something remarkable happens. You stop seeking in other people what you already have inside yourself. You stop falling into relationships where you are desperately trying to complete yourself through another person. You become, in the truest sense of the word, yourself. Now let us talk about the persona. This is the mask you wear for the world. Jung borrowed this word from the ancient Greek theatre, where actors literally wore masks to represent their roles. Your persona is the role you play in society, the responsible parent, the confident professional, the easygoing friend, the strong one who never needs help. There is nothing wrong with having a persona. We all need one to function in the world. The problem, Jung said, comes when you forget that it is a mask, when you start to believe that you are the mask, when you stop knowing where the role ends and the real you begins. And most people, Jung observed, live their entire lives at this level. They never go deeper. They maintain the performance from the moment they wake up to the moment they fall asleep. And at the end, they die without ever having met themselves. One of the most powerful questions Jung ever posed was this: what am I doing with my life versus what does my life want from me? He introduced the concept of the self with a capital S. not the ego, which is the conscious, everyday you who navigates the world and protects its reputation. The self is the totality of who you are, conscious and unconscious, light and shadow, known and unknown. And the self has a direction, it has a calling. Jung called it the process of becoming. And he believed that the deepest unhappiness in human life comes from ignoring that calling. This is why so many people reach midlife and are suddenly struck by a crisis. Not because something goes wrong on the outside, but because something comes alive on the inside. The unlived life begins to knock. The shadow that was buried in the 20s starts demanding to be heard in the 40s. The dreams deferred, the passions suppressed, the truths avoided, they all begin pushing upward from the unconscious. And if a person is not prepared for this, it feels like destruction. It feels like a breakdown. But Jung saw it differently. He called it a breakthrough. He said, every crisis is an invitation to know yourself more deeply. He himself went through exactly this kind of dark night of the soul after his break with Freud. He entered a period of intense inner exploration that he later described in his mysterious and profound work, The Red Book, where he deliberately descended into his own unconscious, confronted his own shadow, and emerged transformed. He said this was the most important work of his life. And here is perhaps Jung's most essential message. The outer world is always a reflection of the inner world. The chaos you see around you, the patterns that keep repeating in your relationships, the career that keeps going wrong, the same arguments with different people, the same feeling of being stuck, they are not random. They are your unconscious talking to you. They are the self trying to get your attention. Jung said, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside? Dreams. Who looks inside? Awakes. So let me ask you something right now. At this moment in your life, what are you dreaming about, and what are you refusing to look at? What is the emotion you keep swallowing? What is the person you resent most, and what does that resentment reveal about you? What was the dream you had for your life that you quietly gave up, and what would happen if you picked it up again? Jung believed in the power of dreams, not as random noise from a tired brain, but as messages from the unconscious. He spent decades studying dreams, analyzing them, decoding their symbols, and he concluded that dreams are the royal road to self-knowledge. When you dream of being chased, who is chasing you? What part of yourself are you running from? When you dream of falling, what in your waking life feels out of control? When you dream of a house, Jung said, you are dreaming of yourself. The rooms are different parts of your psyche. And the rooms you never open, the dark basement, the locked attic, those are the parts of yourself you have not yet dared to explore. Now I want to talk about something very specific that Jung observed about aging, and because many of you watching this are in the second half of life, this is perhaps the most important thing I will say today. Jung believed that the first half of life and the second half of life serve completely different purposes. The first half is for building identity, building career, building family, establishing yourself in the world, developing the persona, finding your place. The second half of life, however, is for a different task entirely. It is for going inward. It is for questioning everything you built and asking whether it was truly yours or whether it was what society expected of you. It is for meeting the parts of yourself you never had time for. It is for finding meaning. He said that many psychological problems of the second half of life are not truly problems at all. They are invitations. They are the psyche demanding that you finally stop, look inward, and answer the oldest and most important question of human existence. Who am I? Not who do others think I am. Not who was I trained to be. Not who do I need to appear to be. Who am I, really? And this is the beauty of Jung's philosophy. He did not see the unconscious as the enemy. He did not see the shadow as something to destroy. He saw the entire inner life, the dreams, the fears, the hidden desires, the strange impulses, the irrational emotions, as gifts, as messengers, as the voice of something in you that is trying to make you whole. He said once, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, not who your parents wanted, not who your culture approved of, not who your fear of rejection allowed, who you truly are, your authentic, integrated, fully awake self." And how do you begin this journey? Jung's answer was simple, but not easy. Pay attention. Start by watching your reactions. Notice what makes you angry, what makes you envious, what makes you feel suddenly unreasonably anxious. These are signals from the unconscious. Write down your dreams. Sit with your discomfort instead of immediately escaping it with a screen, with food, with busyness. Ask the uncomfortable questions. Find the courage to be honest, not with others, but with yourself. And if you can, find a quiet place, not a physical place, though that helps. A quiet place inside. Because that is where the answers have always been waiting. Jung spent his entire life pointing toward one truth. The greatest adventure you will ever undertake is not in the world. It is in you. Most people are strangers to themselves. They are intimate with their routines, their opinions, their habits, their social roles, but they have never truly met the person underneath all of that. And because they have never met that person, they are at the mercy of forces they cannot see and do not understand. Their unconscious runs their life. Their shadow controls their choices. Their unlived dreams pull them in directions they cannot explain. But it does not have to be this way. Jung showed us that self-knowledge is not a luxury. It is not a hobby for the philosophically curious. It is a necessity. It is the foundation of everything, of genuine relationships, of real peace, of a life that feels, at the end, like it was truly yours. You were not put on this earth to sleepwalk through a story written by others. You were put here to wake up, to know yourself, to become yourself. And it starts with one honest question. Do you know yourself? Not the version you show the world, not the version that meets expectations, not the version that performs, protects and pretends, the real one, the one that exists in the quiet hours before sleep, the one that sometimes surfaces in a dream that leaves you unsettled for days, the one that longs for something you can barely name. That is who is waiting for you, and that is who you have been searching for all along. I want you to do something right now. Before you scroll away, before the next video plays, before life pulls you back into its noise, close your eyes for just 3 seconds and ask yourself honestly, in this moment, am I truly living as myself, or am I performing a version of myself that I was taught the world would accept? Just 3 seconds. Go ahead. Whatever you felt in those 3 seconds, that feeling, whether it was peace or a quiet ache or something you can't name but you felt it in your chest, that is your unconscious speaking to you. That is the real you, knocking on the door. And I want you to honor that. Right now, in the simplest way possible, scroll down to the comment section and write just one word, one single word that describes how you truly feel on the inside right now. Not how you're supposed to feel, not what sounds good. The real word, the honest one, the one that comes up before your mind has time to edit it. One word, that's all, because here is what I believe. The moment you write that word, you are no longer hiding from yourself. You are beginning the most important conversation of your life, and you deserve to have that conversation. This channel exists for one reason only: to help you know yourself more deeply, to help you live with more awareness, more peace, and more of your authentic truth. If today's video touched something real in you, then please do one small thing for me. Hit that like button, not for the algorithm, but as a quiet agreement with yourself that this kind of truth matters to you. And if you know someone, a friend, a family member, someone who is going through a hard time and can't quite explain why, share this video with them. Because sometimes the greatest gift you can give another person is a mirror. And maybe today, this video can be that mirror for someone you love. Subscribe if you haven't already. Because we are just getting started. Every week, I bring you ideas that go beyond the surface of life, because you deserve more than surface-level living. Jung spent his whole life telling us that the unexamined life is a life half-lived. Today, you chose to examine yours. And that, my friend, takes real courage. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself. And remember, the person you've been looking for has been inside you the whole time.